Some red flags are obvious. You see them immediately. Cheating, disrespect, anger issues, manipulation, those ones are easy to identify. But the most dangerous red flags in men are the invisible ones, the ones that do not look harmful while dating. In fact, some of them can even look attractive at first. And the most painful thing is this: many women only truly understand these red flags inside marriage. You may see the signs before marriage, but you don't truly understand the weight, damage, emotional exhaustion, and regret they can cause until you start experiencing them every single day as a wife. In dating, you can go home, take space, ignore certain things, but in marriage, you live inside the reality of that person every single day. This is why I am making this video, because I genuinely love quality relationships and healthy marriages, and I equally know that the foundation is everything. And if experience has taught some women these lessons in the hard way, then other women should at least have the opportunity to learn before entering marriage. So today, I am going to walk you through 7 invisible red flags in men that women usually don't understand until inside marriage. And trust me, some of these things look very small now until they become the very reason a woman feels emotionally drained, resentful, lonely, and stuck inside her marriage. Let's talk about them. Number 1, a man without male guidance or accountability. This one is very serious. A man who has no male guidance, mentor, accountability, or respected authority in his life can become extremely difficult to build with in marriage. And let me explain carefully. This is not whether his father was present or absent alone. This is about whether there is anybody he respects enough to listen to. Because some men answer to absolutely nobody. Nobody can correct them. Nobody can advise them. Nobody can call them to order. They believe they know everything. At first, this may even look attractive. He may look very confident, independent, and strong-minded. But marriage will expose the danger in it, because every human being needs accountability. When conflicts happen in marriage, because they will happen, you cannot be the only voice trying to correct your husband. That becomes exhausting. And many women in marriages like this eventually feel helpless because he never admits wrong, he rejects correction, he dismisses concern, he sees accountability as disrespect. A man who cannot be guided can become very difficult to live with long term. Wisdom grows in humility, and humility is often revealed in whom a person is willing to listen to. The second red flag is a poor communicator. One of the most underestimated red flags in a man is poor communication. Unfortunately, many women miss this because they mistake it for personality. They say he's just quiet, he's not expressive, he's just a private person. No, there is a difference between being quiet and being emotionally unavailable. A poor communicator is a man who struggles to express his emotions, avoid difficult conversations, shuts down during conflict, deflects serious discussions, and never explains himself properly. At first, it may not look serious. In fact, during dating, some women even look at it as peace because he's not arguing, he's not shouting, he's not dramatic. But marriage exposes it. Because in marriage, communication is not optional. You cannot build intimacy with someone who refuses emotional conversations. Imagine being hot and your husband completely shuts down. Imagine crying about something and your husband says that you're overreacting. Imagine trying to resolve issues, but every serious conversation becomes silence, avoidance, or irritation. You will start feeling emotionally abandoned. And let me tell you something many people don't say enough. A woman can survive many things, but constantly feeling unheard in marriage breaks something inside of her, because women connect deeply through emotional conversations. So when a man lacks that ability, the marriage slowly starts becoming emotionally lonely. The third red flag is a lazy or unambitious man. Please hear me carefully. This is not about a man who is doing his best but life hasn't clicked yet. Life can genuinely be difficult sometimes. This is about a man who lacks drive, a man who is comfortable doing the bare minimum, a man with no urgency for growth, a man who is too relaxed about responsibility, a man who can comfortably watch a woman carry all the pressure while he remains comfortable. And many women ignore this because he's kind, he's nice, he has a good heart. But marriage needs more than niceness. Marriage is responsibility. Bills are real, children are real, pressure is real. And if a man has no ambition, vision, discipline, or consistency, the woman eventually starts carrying the emotional and financial weight of the home. And that burden changes relationships. Because eventually, admiration starts dying. You begin feeling like a survivor partner rather than a loved wife. And one dangerous thing about lazy men is this: they are often comfortable watching a woman overwork herself. The fourth red flag is an insecure man. This one is extremely dangerous because insecurity in men do not usually appear loudly. A lot of times it appears softly, quietly, subtle. This is the man who feels uncomfortable with your growth, gets intimidated by your success, downplays your achievements, discourages your ambition in subtle ways. He may never directly say don't grow, but he may say things like, you are stressing yourself too much, relax, you don't need to do all of that, you are walking like a man. And slowly, he starts becoming uncomfortable with your expansion, especially in areas where he feels inadequate himself. A secure man celebrates your win. An insecure man tolerates them. There is a difference. And women in marriages like this eventually start shrinking themselves just to protect the ego of the man they love. They stop shining fully. They reduce themselves emotionally, intellectually, and financially. And that is a very painful way to live. If at this point you have learned something, kindly like this video, as it will help the video get to more women who need to hear this. Don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification to see more videos like this from me. Thank you. The fifth red flag is a man who wants you to lead. This one is heavily misunderstood because at first it may look like, oh, he lets me be myself. He values my opinion. He is not controlling. As much as that is good, you have to look deeper. Is this a man who truly values partnership, or is this a man who constantly wants you to carry responsibility? Because some men are overly comfortable with a woman doing the planning, the fixing, the leading, the decision making, and the emotional heavy lifting. And over time, the woman slowly enters survivor mode. She becomes the leader in everything. And let me say something that is very important. Many women call this being in the masculine energy. But masculine energy is not always a preference. Most times, it is a response. A response to a man who refuses to lead, a response to constantly feeling unsupported, a response to carrying everything alone. And eventually, the relationship starts feeling exhausting rather than soft and safe. You stop feeling pampered, you stop feeling protected, you stop feeling emotionally rested. Instead, the man starts feeling like another responsibility, like somebody you have to carry constantly. This makes many women become resentful in their relationships because deep down, they no longer feel feminine, relaxed, or cared for. The sixth red flag is a man who expects you to be like his mother. This one is deep. Pay attention to the kind of marriage a man grew up watching, because many people unconsciously recreate what feels familiar. If his mother suffered in silence, he may expect that from you too. If his mother carried everything, he may normalize that. If his father neglected responsibilities, he may unconsciously repeat it. And the dangerous part is that he may not even realize he's doing it. To him, it feels normal. You hear statements like, "That's how my mom used to do it. My mother never complained." And sadly, before you know it, you are being measured against unhealthy patterns. Ladies, love is not enough. Pay attention to mindset. Pay attention to emotional conditioning. Pay attention to what he believes marriage should look like. The seventh red flag is a man without stable income or financial direction. This is one of the most overlooked red flags because many women become desperate for marriage and desperation blinds people. Let me say this clearly. You cannot seriously be talking about marriage without a predictable means of income. Marriage is not vibes. Marriage is responsibility. And one of the biggest pillars of a stable marriage is finances. People usually avoid saying this because they want to sound deep and romantic and do not want to sound materialistic. But financial pressure destroys many marriages emotionally. Let me quickly make it clear that this is not about mocking struggling men. Everybody can go through difficult seasons, but there is a difference between temporary struggle and a lack of financial direction entirely. Some women mistake potential for readiness. Just because a man is nice while broke doesn't automatically mean he will become a responsible husband. A broke man obviously has no option but to be humble and accommodating. Real character is tested when responsibility increases, and many women enter marriages trying to play the savior financially. At first, it feels noble. I'll support you, we'll build together. And yes, support is beautiful. A woman should support. I am an advocate for that. But she should not carry the lead role financially long term. Because over time, many women in that position become deeply resentful and exhausted. This is just how women are built. And let me explain something that people don't talk about enough. A man naturally feels more confident and secure when he can provide. When a wife constantly carries the financial burden while the man is dependent, it can damage his sense of identity, leadership, confidence, and stability. And that tension usually affects the marriage emotionally. This is why women must stop romanticizing struggle without structure. Love is good, character is good, but financial responsibility is as important. Please do not let society deceive you into ignoring that reality. The truth is, many women don't ignore red flags because they are foolish. They ignore them because they are hopeful. They believe love will change things. But marriage does not erase patterns. Marriage exposes them. And sometimes the very things you dismissed while dating becomes the same thing you cry about in marriage. So please, don't just look for chemistry. Look for emotional safety. Look for responsibility. Look for alignment. Look for wisdom. Look for patterns. Because who a man is consistently will eventually show up in marriage. Till I see you in my next one. Bye.